Hi there, this is Matt at State of Flux here with a review for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. But first I want to talk to you about Wandering Witch Publishing. Wandering Witch Publishing is a publishing company that one of my friends started. It's a space for growth where imaginative thinkers come together to challenge perspectives by engaging with counterculture through magical realism and real magicalism. This is an alternative publishing company that plans to publish poetry, short stories, novels. So if you're interested in both contributing to and or consuming alternative publishing sources, this is a fantastic place to look. And in the description box below you can read up on Wandering Witch Publishing, and also there's a link to a GoFundMe page to help get this upstart company up and started. But moving on to Across the Spider-Verse. This is a really good sequel to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Is it as good as that first movie? Not quite. The first movie is a complete rounded film with a beginning, middle, and end. It has poignancy throughout, as this movie does too, but this movie is to Into the Spider-Verse is as Back to the Future 2 is to Back to the Future. It's a really good follow-up, but it's lacking conclusion, because this is the first of a two-part finale. Think Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions, Back to the Future 2 and 3, and there's been numerous ones across the filmverse. But this one I think lands better than all the movies I just previously mentioned. It's a really good film that continues the poignancy of a story that was established in that first film. If I were to have one other criticism for it, it would be that it does kind of walk back some of the thematic through lines of that first movie, right down to the final ending monologue of that film being anybody could wear the mask. You could be Spider-Man. All you had to do is be in the right place at the wrong time, or the wrong place at the right time, however you look at it, is kind of where that movie lands. This definitely walks that entire concept back, but it does so while utilizing the character and lineage of all forms of Spider-Man media across the board in such compelling and interesting ways. And it really draws Miles Morales' character into a more compelling character than he was in the first one. You liked him a lot in the first one, but he's much more compelling and textured in this film, as is Gwen. Gwen is the shining star of this film. Spider-Gwen is the scene stealer. She opens the movie with a hell of a banger of an opening. Then the film kind of teeters between those two characters through much of the rest of the running time. The action in this film is strong. It is funny, like the first one is. I think that I like the soundtrack in this movie better, which is saying a lot, because that soundtrack in that first movie it slaps. But the music in this one is fantastic. It just lacking conclusion is the biggest problem. So where I ultimately land on this film kind of depends on where I ultimately land with how the film concludes a year from now with Beyond the Spider-Verse. And I think it's kind of important to know that this is the first of a two-parter going in. Yeah, like this could be The Empire Strikes Back, but it also could be Matrix Reloaded. There's a lot here that I absolutely love, but unlike other sequels, like Empire Strikes Back is a good example, or Avengers Infinity War, where they have an ending that is a cliffhanger to some extent, right? But at the same time, the themes of the film wrap up and conclude. The story that is trying to be told has a beginning, middle, and end, and they have definitive endpoints. This film doesn't. This movie just kind of thunks and then to be continued, and that is something that bothers me a little bit. That's much more what Matrix Reloaded and Back to the Future 2 did. One of those stuck the landing, and one of those kind of didn't. So, yeah, hopefully this one, I have faith in Lord and Miller and all that they've brought to these two films. So I think it will stick the landing. I really liked it. I give it 3.5 out of 4 stars. It is in my top 10 movies of the year. One that I highly recommend you enjoy for yourself and have a lot of fun with it. There's some great Easter eggs. If you're a fan of any form of Spider-Man media, you're going to walk away with a smile on your face when you think back on certain things. And might I just say that my favorite joke in the first movie, the person who got hit in the head with a bagel and then the word bagel just appears as it bounced off the head, that is the strongest joke in the first movie. Who could have guessed that that would become the vital backbone of this film, that one throwaway joke? It's really wild, but it amused me to no end. So there you have it. I hope you enjoy this film. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Check out Wandering Witch Publishing. Peace.